we have a bath bomb for those 10 minutes when you can get away from your kids or anyone in your life and actually lock the door. And no, CBD will not get you high.
So you're telling me I'm a mess.
Yeah.
Okay, here I am, angry at my kids and hating other things. Okay. Kristen.
Yes.
Scoot doo, blabbity blue, scoop dee. Oh yeah. I would be lying to you if I told you that I wasn't feeling a little. I don't know if I want to say nervous or appreciative that you were able to find a way to come back.
Oh, why? Because of that. Don't worry about. Don't worry about what happened. I wanted to find a time to come back. And, something this week was canceled. So I said, why not give it another try with Ricky?
So,
because I love you.
Thank you. Yeah. I love you.
I'm sorry about before. I tried my hardest. It was just all a lot.
I want to tell people what happened real quick, and then I actually want to ask you about that. In case you missed it, the 100th episode, Kristen was here, and we ordered something from Postmates, and the driver was new. Anyway, here.
Oh, there's a garbage truck, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't have that on the set of Frozen, do they?
No, we had garbage trucks. Do you want to build a snowman? Come on, let's go and play. I never see you anymore. Come out the door. It's like you've gone away. We used to be best buddies. That's a different chord. And now we're not. Yep. I wish you could tell me why. Do you want to build a snowman? It doesn't have to be a snowman. Okay, bye.
That was good.
Oh my god! That scared the
What? Who is it?
Wait, whoa, hold on. Why are you coming up through the...
I tried for door, you do not answer.
Oh my god, Ricky.
Oh, what is this?
This is so dumb.
Hey man, what are you doing?
Wait. Why didn't... You can't come through the balcony though.
Oh, is this Postmates? What are you doing, man?
I knock on door, you don't respond for door.
Being a podcast host could be exhausting, so I look for the little things to keep me relaxed, whether it's orchids, a good meal, or most importantly, a good night's sleep. That's why I'm excited to offer my goblins an orchid. No, I'm just kidding. A good night's sleep. We're all different, and we all sleep differently. So take Helix's 2-minute sleep quiz to match you with the most perfect mattress that you've ever had in your entire life. Helix is offering up to $200 plus 2 free pillows by visiting helixsleep.com/TYSO. That's up to $200 off all mattress orders. 2 free pillows by visiting helixsleep.com/TYSO. Now take it away, Kristen Bell, with one of our classic snap transitions.
And we're back.
Is there something to you being a celebrity, public figure, to where you feel like you have to what?
Nothing. I thought that was the end of the question. Is there something to being
is there
a celebrity?
Not
Not really.
How do we capture that?
I don't know.
No, what I want to know is there something to you are a public figure, and even though we're friends and it's a podcast and it's not live, there's still something that. Are you conscious of how you're representing yourself to other people? Like, there's a fucking weirdo who just came up on the balcony.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. But more like with the Postmates guy, you mean?
Yeah.
I'm way more concerned with how I'm representing as a human being. Like, that was, to be honest, super weird. Like, why did he have a ladder in his car? Why was he climbing the balcony? But then...
He did, by the way, it was a ladder that he found on the side. Doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. Well, no, but see that, again... Context is important. Nuance is important. The fact that he wasn't like carrying a ladder in order to deliver 2 balconies makes me feel a little safer, but it was super weird and it scared the crap out of me. But he wanted to make the delivery. That's what you're supposed to do. And it was weird, but I didn't want to be rude. And I can kind of understand you were playing the piano and it was loud that he couldn't hear the door. But it just, the whole thing had my heart racing too much to be able to sit down for an interview. So I'm sorry.
What is that? And then you coming back, we're fine. Like, that doesn't, it's just, it is what it is.
Yeah. I believe in second chances.
This is the second chance?
Yes. This is your second and last chance with me, Rick.
Well, that's Yeah, no, we're so sad to hear that we only have one more chance. Look how sad we are.
Oh. Oh. Well, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, rub it a little slower.
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay. I think you need to. Yeah, I think you need to go. Thank you.
That was $2,000.
Wow. Well
Cost me
worth
$2,000.
it.
All right, now let's get into the real nitty gritty.
Okay.
When you came here before, you said you did not have an announcement that you were having a baby.
Correct. I have no such announcement to make.
If you ever were to have like some big announcement, another baby, I guess that would be the big one. I can't think of what an announcement.
What other announcements
What
are
are
there?
like scandalous or like big time announcements?
Well, like divorce or marriage is an announcement. I don't foresee either of those in my future.
I hope not.
No, I don't think so.
I've talked about you and Dax on this podcast. Probably, I don't know. I'm trying to make up a number. Who gives a shit? Numerous times. In one specific example,
What?
Jackie and I were at your house. Shout out to Jackie Chone. I'll put her Instagram handle up here. And you said something to Dax. I don't remember what it was, but it was something that made him not happy about his hair. Is the way I'm thinking about it, because it was head related.
Okay.
I'm tapping into something maybe, but he was wearing a hat. It was just something. It wasn't like him being an ugly person. I didn't think anything of it.
But I said something about his hair that made him self-conscious?
You said something about his hat that I think was hair, like made him think hair.
Okay.
Point is, it was in passing. You said something, and he was hurt.
Oh, no.
And he said to you, and I'm paraphrasing it, but it was like, are you saying that because of something about my hair, blah, 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 or was it the hat? I don't remember what the two options were. And you didn't even realize another option could have, it was only the hat thing. Mm-hmm. And then he said, and there's something about just
communication. Yeah, it's incredibly important. And that's one thing. I mean, and I will say he's really taught me a ton about that. I hate to give him credit for anything, but the reality is that he is right a lot of the time, and it is frustrating to live with someone that's right all the time. But he has, he has this commitment to growth, and it's really inspiring. He's also a know-it-all, so that's annoying. But like I've never had a relationship prior to him, even in any of my relationships, friendship or with my parents or otherwise, where it's depended so much on a commitment to vulnerability and clarifying intentions and those things. If you can just like start by doing that, like, wait, were you saying that because you think my hair looks bad, or were you saying that because XYZ about the hat? And then all of a sudden you clarify all of this like gritty stuff that gets in between you that ends up forming a resentment, later on.
What I took from that, and I mean, it was like there's like moments in your life where you learn new tools. That was a huge one. It was Dax knew. In my head, I was thinking I would know. Like this is the thing that bothered me. But to have the awareness to know that there at least might be another perspective. So instead of getting mad at your intentions, at least question them.
Yeah. I think that's really important also that, one thing we depend on in our relationship is the trust of the other person. Like we've decided we're on a team and we have to always be starting there. So we can't wake up thinking the other person is out to get us. That's a recipe for disaster. So you have to sort of assume the benefit of the doubt. And if you can't get there, or you need to ask other questions for clarification, you should. Like, did you say something about my sweater because you think that I'm like too old to wear a color like this? Or do you just, does this make me look too, like, you ask them to clarify their intention, and 99 times out of 100, your partner's going to be like, oh my God, no, that's not what I meant. I'm so sorry. And then you kind of never have a fight about it.
Two things that happened during this, and if I don't acknowledge it, I'm not going to be here with you. So
okay.
We missed the moment, and it is what it is. But when you said the important for growth, I wanted to have the goblin boner come back again.
Okay.
And when you talked about this color, I have a goblin sweatshirt that is that exact color.
Okay.
That I wanted you to snap in. People come and they snap it, they change shirts.
Okay.
But I mean, maybe this is, I don't know if sexist is the right word, but hateful to women. If you were a guy, I would have asked, but with a girl.
To change my shirt?
Yeah, because I wasn't even thinking about what's underneath.
Oh, yeah.
I just meant because I've heard that women, strong, beautiful women, can mess up their hair.
Oh, well, I can totally see that point of view. I haven't brushed my hair maybe like 4 or 5 times in the past year. So my hair is not an issue for me.
Okay. Well, I don't want to make too much of a thing of you and Dax, but I have to say, do you guys, is that a thing a lot?
What?
When you go on stuff, is it, because you guys are like
yeah, sometimes. Yeah. We talk about each other or talk about our relationship a lot, which used to, like in the beginning of our relationship, bother us because we didn't want all the attention. And there was this, like when we first started dating, it was the height of everyone digging into celebrity relationships and that was...
What do you mean? That's the height? Like that's when like
like
reality
15 years ago was when like the height of you being followed if you were at the movies with someone, or like when paparazzi used to follow you like in groups and stuff. And it just always felt so... like you couldn't really have anything intimate, and there was always so much exposure, and you were like, wait, we shouldn't be concerned with what they're writing about our relationship. We should be concerned with the reality of our relationship. And then, whatever. It was just a messy. But then like right around the time we had kids, we realized like, wait a minute, we've figured out how to work around and with each other, and we're polar opposites. And so maybe us being honest about our struggles and what works for us could serve as an example, because we're all just monkeys. We look to other people as examples. So we were like, why not? Let's be honest about when we fight, when we're mean to each other or jealous of each other, when we're great to each other, what works for us, that we both love therapy. We just started being more honest. So it is a topic of conversation that comes up a lot.
My girlfriend is not in the entertainment business, and she's real. She doesn't live in this country, but she's real. And I don't know what the word, I don't like, and nor do I want to tag her on things. It's the same math as me not wanting to tag my parents. I could explain it, but privacy.
But you're allowed to have that. I've never showed a picture of my children, and I never will.
That's the connection I wanted to make. People know you and Dax together already. But the reason you don't want to show your kids, if I remember correctly, is it's you want it to be their decision if they're public, right?
100%. So, and look, am I destined when they both turn 16 to want to become like reality stars? Sure. I have no...
Do you think that's probably going to happen?
I don't know, but I'm just saying like whatever judgmental thing you could say about like, oh, you're keeping your kids private, well, they're probably going to XYZ. I'm sure that's, destined for me, whatever. My point is there's a couple different reasons why we did it. Number one, when you open yourself up to that becomes a narrative in a certain kind of magazine like tabloids, and it becomes
what they're looking for kids. Your
kids?
Like
if this is so and so's child, oh look, this person's child turned 2 years old, they're at the park. It becomes a storyline for them, right? Because they're all sort of made up and stitched together based on what paparazzi pics come. Look at this little kid's outfit, and most of it's just sort of like, but the idea of a child being exposed to a strange man or woman with a camera feels very predator-prey, like especially to the child. I've been around it. I've experienced it. I've seen my friends with their kids who get followed, and it's just not cool. I don't think any child should be put through that. Also, I don't know them yet, and I think the most respect...
You don't know your kids yet?
Yeah.
Could you say that differently?
I don't know their names or their ages, to be honest. Like there's two. I know there's two of them. I know they're out of diapers, but that is all I know.
But do you mean because they don't have much to tell you who they are yet?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, their frontal lobe is not yet intact, so they don't know themselves. That's all right. They're doing fine. Okay. It won't be intact until they're about 21, as all of ours. Yeah, for sure. That's why teenagers are the scariest, because they look like adults, but their frontal lobe is fully not online yet, so their risk assessment is in the toilet. Their future projections are in the toilet, and that's why they get into a ton of trouble. You know I'm a doctor, right?
I didn't.
Okay. Well, the other reason is that because I don't yet...
I don't know, put a animated doctor shirt on you or something?
CBD, bro. It's so hot. You should totally try it.
Not for me.
CBD. This is an incredibly invigorating portion of the cannabis sativa plant.
I'm sorry, I just don't buy into this stuff. It's too stonery or it's too clinical. CBD's not for me.
Listen, let me tell you about Happy Dance.
Fine.
It comes in fun, bright colors, okay? The packaging is off the charts. I said to myself, what would I look like if I were in your medicine cabinet? You want to open up your medicine cabinet every day and have a little Kristen Bell there? I think you do. Open
Okay,
it up.
You have my attention.
We have 3 products: coconut oil, 2 ingredients, full spectrum CBD, and coconut oil. We have a body lotion, and we have a bath bomb for those 10 minutes when you can get away from your kids or anyone in your life and actually lock the door. And no, CBD will not get you high.
So you're telling me I'm a mess.
Yeah.
Okay, here I am, angry at my kids and hating other things. Okay? But all the other options, they're just not for me.
Listen, do you want to feel like you have set the thermostat in your life to exactly the right temperature?
I'm more interested in opening my medicine cabinet to find a little Kristen Bell.
Hi, I'm in here. And we're back. And the other reason is that what if one of my daughters, who is a little bit of an introvert, what if she doesn't want pictures of herself up everywhere? Like, what if she just doesn't want that kind of exposure? And I feel like the responsible thing for me to do is just wait until they can at least decide. I want to, I don't know, be an actor, be a writer. I want to have my picture taken, whatever. And then the third one is, I think it's a parent's rights issue that if anybody from anywhere in the world has to sign a document that says the school district can take a picture of their child and print it in the yearbook, I think I should have that same right about a tabloid. It should be up to me whether or not my child has, pictures printed in a magazine. And I also, it's a safety thing. I don't ever want anyone coming up to her on her walk home from school or when we're at the airport, if God forbid, she's in the restroom or something, and someone say, "Hi, Lincoln," to her name, and then she feels like stranger danger, that person, I don't know that person, they know me. It's just a very odd feeling, and it's hard for kids to understand. So they know what we do, but they also know that if we take a picture at home for social media, if I'm like taking a picture in someone's sweatshirt for their new book or something, they know they're not supposed to be in the picture. So they're very clear on it.
How much of this rule is kind of ingrained in your head now to where you see, when I see other people posting their kids, celebrities posting their kids, I don't have much of an opinion on it, but it does clock like...
Well, I'll tell you something. I really try not to judge, because I'll tell you something. There's a very, very big difference. But I don't fault any parent who is super proud and wants to post a picture of their kid. Any parent. There's a very big difference between taking a picture of your child in front of the Christmas tree or at home and they're, making a silly face. That situation is not predator prey. There is no cortisol rise in the kid's physiology at that moment because it's a parent taking the picture. So that, if they're posting it on their social media,
as opposed to what, paparazzi?
Yeah, as opposed to going to the park and feeding the tabloid thing of it all. No, I mean there's still a cycle of then the tabloids just pull those pictures.
How do you take a kid to the park then?
Well, it doesn't happen a ton anymore. Well, because Dax and I went on this mission, I guess, when Jen Garner and Halle Berry passed this law in California.
Shout out to Jen and Halle, by the way. We'll put their Instagram handles up.
Big time. They passed this law about not taking pictures of kids, and we all got information about it. If you think your kids are going to be exposed to this, and hopefully we can hold someone accountable because it's now illegal. If you feel like your kid is being, I don't know what the word is for law stuff. I'm not a lawyer, I'm just a doctor.
Fucked with.
Yeah, fucked with, disrupted. So we got that information, but Dax, of course, he was really smart. He was like, look, I don't necessarily think that this is ever going to be prosecuted because of, murders. That's more important. That's what the law needs to spend their time on. So he was like, what if we can create a little bit of a grassroots, tidal wave of the consumer changing their opinion on looking at pictures of celebrities' kids and feeling like it should be more intimate. So we created something called the No Kids policy, and I met with every media company in Los Angeles,
right?
Like Access Hollywood and E! And, In Touch and People, and went into the CEOs and was just like, here's a list of people who will no longer be stopping for your outlets on the red carpet and or giving your outlet any content unless you agree to this No Kids policy, which is you do not print any pictures of the children of these celebrities without their permission. And they thankfully all agreed, except 2 of the really shitty tabloids. But
you heard it here first. No Kids policy except for 2 of the shitty tabloids. You want to find out?
And Dax and I actually got to
play with little...
No, I was cueing you. You can cut this out, but get to a snap after this. Dax and I actually got in a fight with two paparazzis on, I think it was Access Hollywood, and we got pretty heated.
You know, it's funny that you bring that up because we actually have a clip. And if we can't get cleared, then, just cut to a sponsor. If you're looking for just the right flooring, you need choices. And at Marshall Carpet One, you'll find thousands of choices, including carpet, hardwood, rugs, and luxury vinyl. So make the right choice and visit Marshall Carpet One and Rug Gallery. And we promise, with more than 50 years as a family-owned business, we've got you covered!
And we're back. Wow. Marshall Rug Gallery. Those are amazing prices. Is that from the Rug Gallery?
And it's going to sound tacky, but it's the customers, and I feel even weird saying customers, the experience of people coming in, it's really, it's not...
It's more of a relationship.
It's family.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been in business for over 50 years, and when you're Marshall Rug Gallery, you're a family.
Yeah.
So check out Marshall Rug Gallery or rickglassman.com. Use promo code BOOBS for 10% off. Now, Kristen.
It's Kristen, yes.
I have this device on the podcast that I found that when you're speaking to somebody to maintain or at least take control, you say the name 3 times. You say it because you know the name, and then you wonder, is it
the name?
Yeah, and then you ask it, then the person confirms, and then you assert it. Does that make sense? So it's Kristen?
Yeah.
Kristen, could I see you try that with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ricky.
Is that something that you feel that you could use at some point?
Absolutely.
Love
That's
that.
a hot tip, and I'm going to take it.
So, Kristen, what I want to know is, do you mind, because I wanted to have some type of scandal on here that I could use as clickbait.
Understand,
and you don't have to do it.
Okay.
Is it cool if I take your top off?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Before you even do anything that could maybe change your mind.
Yeah.
Can I just ask you to snap?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. Just something, I might not even put in the episode. It might just be something be like, Kristen Bell, naked, and take your shoes off, something like that. Okay. So you have...
Kristen Bell took her top off instead of her shoes.
Kristen Bell, mistakenly right. Take your... you know what?
Her top in her
Could
shoes.
I tell you something? And I don't mean to be name dropping, but it only happened once.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's the biggest name, but it is the biggest person I've had on here. Mm-hmm. I'll cut to a clip.
I like the shirt, but I thought this was please take your shirt off.
No, it's take your shoes off.
Take your shirt off.
So.
Okay.
Kristen, yeah. Kristen, you have a lot of influence to be able to go to tabloids and say, hey, me and my team have said that we're going to not give you what you want if you don't give us what we want.
Well, I didn't. I had the list of people that I brought in. Certainly they would have, if I would have said, I'm not going to do anything for your magazine anymore, and they would have said, c'est la vie.
Yeah, but you are able to get those people.
Yes, but was I able to contact a ton of people that had much larger careers than I did or ever will that said, yes, I absolutely believe in that. I mean, it was Scarlett Johansson was on it before she had kids, like Jennifer Lawrence. All those people were like, yeah, duh, stop printing pictures of people's kids that don't want their kids' pictures taken. Because again, it is.
So I don't understand. If they didn't want that either, then what are you saying? I don't understand what you mean.
So I'm saying, like, you run a magazine, right? And you're a big time magazine runner, okay?
Give me a monocle.
And you also have, need to do a red carpet. You've done those. Someone's got what are they called? Voice recorders. Microphones. Yep. Okay. And you say, Ricky, tell us about your new show.
Hello?
Yes, exactly. So what if I gave you a list of the 150 most important celebrities right now and said, the next time you're on a red carpet or want an interview with any of those people, whether or not they had kids, they're going to pass you by.
I understand. What I'm saying is I'm confused with you saying you couldn't get these big stars.
No, I could. I thought you were saying I had clout to walk in and say to these media companies, I'm not going to give you any interviews.
Let me tell you a direct analogy of what made me think of that, about the influence I meant. I just meant whether it's you or you being able to plant this seed and make this thing happen. It's basically whether you meant to or not, wanted it or not, you've taken on a responsibility based on something that was more just micro your family at first. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I knew it wasn't just my family because I know like that there was a ton of other people who had issues with the fact that this was happening to their kids. I mean, you look at some of the videos of like Jen Garner's kids or Michelle Williams' kids, and it's like, it's awful. But it all stopped about 6 years ago because people got the message that like, but I guess what I'm saying is not only did the media companies agree to it, it was also sort of this press tour where we were able to ask consumers like, do you know what goes on behind the scenes when you see a cute picture of Gwen Stefani's kid? Like that kid probably felt really uncomfortable being followed by like 15 paparazzi, and that's not cool for a kid. So like, you know, when you're at the nail salon flipping through a tabloid, maybe don't grab the one that has a bunch of pictures of kids.
I want to ask you a question, but I want to make sure that camera's going. So we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Alone on the sea, you remain. Sorry, you caught me daydreaming, which is kind of like what Helix has done, except for they caught me night dreaming. Hi, I'm Rick Glassman, and I recently took the Helix sleep quiz, and they matched me with the Dawn Luxe mattress because I prefer a firm bed, and I sleep on my back. Helix has a sleep quiz that takes about 2 minutes to complete and matches your body type and sleep preference for the perfect mattress for you. There are several different models to choose from, including soft, medium, and firm. They even have mattresses that run cold if you sleep hot. They were voted #1 mattress in 2020 by GQ and Wired magazine. They have a 10-year warranty, but you also get to try out the mattress for 100 nights risk-free. And if you don't love it, Helix will pick up the mattress from you. Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders plus 2 free pillows by visiting helixsleep.com/TYSO. helixsleep.com/TYSO for up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows. Also, if you get a mattress using the TYSO promo code, make sure to record a video of the unboxing and send it to us so we could feature it on the podcast and perhaps have our goblin, you know. Everything okay?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. So I booked a television show that comes out or starts filming next month, and it's with Jason Katims, and it's a show about autism. And 3 of the main people have autism, and the characters have autism. I don't know if I've ever talked to you about this, but 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with level 1 autism. Talk about it on the podcast sometimes. It's definitely not a secret. Almost every time I've talked about it, I give the same disclaimer. It's less to you and more to whoever else I feel needs to hear it. But I get a little uncomfortable with the idea of it because people have this idea of what autism is. For right or wrong, they have cast it. And there are people that would say, like I've talked about when I first got diagnosed, I was like, thank God, here's a reason for something. And I would talk about it on stage, and some people would, connect with me in the way I was talking, and I reminded them of blah, blah, blah. And some people would say, no, you don't. And I found myself in a position that was very bad, negative to me, which was I was selling them that I it was forcing. It wasn't forcing me, but I felt for a little bit this obligation to make this my identity. Be like, you don't understand. You don't know what it was like when I was a kid. You don't know about all the different schools I had, like all these, and it's like I'm selling you on all. It's still so. Had that not happened, maybe I wouldn't feel that way. But even now, years later, I still feel like you don't have to believe me. Just let me.
Yeah, but they don't, right? Because your story is your story. And I remember so clearly because we met you before you knew that. Mm-hmm. And you were dating Jackie. And then I remember you and Dax kept sort of a close relationship after I sort of stopped seeing you and you guys split up, you and Jackie. But then I remember Dax telling me like, oh my gosh, you know what Ricky realized? That he just got diagnosed with autism. And I was like, oh, I hope that makes sense in his narrative. I hope he's like, oh yeah, maybe that's why. Or I hope that gives him comfort. But it is not your obligation to explain or prove that to anyone else, nor is it anyone else's business.
But here's where this I'm connecting with you on this responsibility comes in. Yeah, I do, and I'm fine. And then I started talking about it on stage, and I still get a little like I don't always mention autism, but I talk about some of the obstacles that I've had, and you could connect it to whatever you connect it to. But I'm now on a show where I'm playing an autistic character, and it's a story of autism. So I have this responsibility. I feel this responsibility to accurately explain something. And there's a cliche saying that I love, which is you met a person with autism, you met one person with autism. And everybody is different. It doesn't mean anything.
That's why they say spectrum, right?
Kind of. The spectrum is because some people think it's like how far along on the spectrum are you, as if it's like I'm an 8.
Right.
But it's more that there's so many different, like difficulty picking up on facial cues is something that I had. I say had because I've gotten good at it, I think. And when I don't, I say to you, hey, listen, if the animation's too much, just you have to tell me. Like I found tricks.
Right.
My obsessive compulsive disorder, not recognizing other perspectives. I think coincidentally, that moment when Dax brought up the hat thing, that wasn't just oh my God, to how to have a relationship with somebody. That was like two different people could be thinking two different things, and they're both real.
Like a light bulb.
It was really my eyes my eyes are watering talking to you about it. It was huge for me, and so the spectrum could be, well, if you have OCD, it doesn't mean you have autism, but if you have OCD and this and this and this, there's so many different character traits on this spectrum. At a certain point, they say, yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
But now I'm on this show, and not only is it people going to see this show who either are touched with autism and want it to be represented a certain way, or are now being introduced to it, and here's an opportunity. I'm also playing not Rick, right? So I'm making up an autistic character in a way. I'm trying to connect as much as I can to it. Anyway, I'm on set. Also, it's the first show. Like I'm the lead on the show, and so there's forget the autism things. It's just like I don't have experience telling a story. I was on Undateable, and a couple of times I talked about tits, which I hate doing. But I got so in my head right before one of the scenes, and I don't know if you know Jason. He's amazing.
Yeah, well, Dax worked on Parenthood with Jason for many years. He's an incredible showrunner.
I texted Dax along the process of the way. You know this. I think you do. Dax is he's the guy. Whatever he is to you on a non-romantic, pretty much non-romantic, that's what he is to me. I want his advice. I will listen even if I disagree. I want to tell him stuff. Anyway. I talked to Jason about it, and that's where I felt I need Jason to know that I'm not trying to lie to people. That's what it is. That makes sense? I'm talking so much about this.
No,
Thank
it's
you.
very interesting.
Lying is already a difficult thing for me. It's not even a moral thing. It's just like when I said to you, I need to acknowledge you snapping into the sweatshirt. I need to say everything that's on my mind. And it's very annoying, and you develop the tools when you're able to, or you find ways of editing shit to make it palatable. But this is now a different, I'm lying. And I'm lying to something that's so real to me. I want to use my real thing. Okay. Put this in 1.5 times fast forward.
But is there a way that you could reframe it that it's not lying, but it's telling a different story than yours?
As long as I'm doing it, that's the responsibility that I feel. Because what if my story that I'm telling, there's a script, but there's character choices that I'm making, and there's I used to do this all the time. I still do sometimes. I used to do this. I remember it was I don't know what it was, 9th or 10th. I was in a special school. It was 9th grade. I was in the special school, PEP, Positive Education Program. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. And I was very embarrassed. And I wanted to be in the yearbook because I might be able to make it back to my high school by the end of the year, and I wanted to be in the yearbook for it. So my mom convinced them to let me go and take a picture. And for 5 minutes, I was in the bathroom going like this. Like practicing my smile, kind of. And, all through high school, it's still sometimes, but for years, like I was doing this Twitch, right? I would do that stuff.
Right.
So is that autism? Or is that just me having I want to add that to the character, but is that lying?
Well, let's see. Okay, so let's come at this from maybe your moral obligations and also your acting obligations. It's inherently untruthful to pretend to be someone else. But art allows us to view a series of images sequenced to a temperature that makes us feel or realize something, right? Like that's a movie or a television show.
When you say sequenced to a temperature, are you talking about tone or like color?
like emotional temperature, right? Like a sequence of scenes or images set to an emotional temperature, and then you feel something, right? You either feel happy, you're watching a sitcom, you feel devastated, you're watching some Oscar-nominated movie, whatever. But I would say that maybe because you have a little bit of leniency, and again, I'm speaking very much outside my medical field right now, but because autism seems to be, from what I understand, such a spectrum in that there are so many different kinds, that you choosing to add something that was uniquely yours that may or may not be attributed to your specific kind of autism, you could add it because what you're trying to show is a different kind of person. Like the character is labeled autistic to show some differences between them and just man number one, right? There's a specificity to it because Kadams wrote this character to have autism. So I think that gives you a little bit of leniency to add what you want. And if you wanted to try to be like ethical about it, like truly, if it was keeping you up at night, you could talk to someone who's an expert in autism and say, and say like, if I were to add this and this, is that disrespectful? Is that too on the nose? Is that, something that you feel I could do?
I don't really know, but I think here's a hypothesis.
Okay.
If I do that, like the negative feeling I'm having towards it, if I do a lot of that, and sometimes I do it, and then then it becomes real, which I like. I mean, I don't like it in person. I like because it's like I could tap into a character that isn't me, but like I get it.
Yeah.
You know. I think it goes back to you saying, "Don't worry about what other people think," which it's a line because you still care. It doesn't have to affect me completely. But here's what I don't want, because I want to be able to go on stage and talk about autism, not as an advocate, but as an obstacle and just a specific about my life. But I don't want to be an autism guy. You know, like I don't want to. I'm Jewish, but I don't want to be like, Rick Glassman, the Jewish rock star. Like I don't want it to be part of my brand.
Yeah. So, I don't think it will though. But well, in that case, maybe don't add. I will say that I don't want to say the word danger because it sounds very severe and I'm not meaning to be hyperbolic, but when you're adding a physical cue in acting, there is a danger there of like, to identify and or label. That character has a limp. Oh, it's the character with the limp.
And that's always a negative?
No, it's not always a negative, but it is always a label. So maybe if you chose to do some of the twitchy things, I'm giving you the choices, right? I'm not telling you what's right or wrong because I can't do that for you. You can only do that for you. But like if you did add the eyes or the smile thing, there's an option of not adding it and just having this person you're playing be the living, breathing, physical embodiment of what Kadams puts on the page, and you playing the interactions as honestly as possible without anything physical, because a lot of autistic people don't have any physical tics. I think, again, I'm speaking out
of my... I want to move past this after this only because we only have so much time. I'm loving this conversation so much. What? This conversation?
Yes.
Okay. The things, the thing... Do you do voices well?
Decently, I guess.
I don't.
Okay.
But sometimes... I get lucky and I'm able to tap into, and I can only do it until, as everybody doing today? Like I got really lucky there with my Jamaican.
Right.
But
Jamaican.
When I stop it, I might lose it.
Right.
The point I'm making is sometimes when you tap into a voice, here's how I can connect to it. When I put on a fake mustache, or if I'm chewing gum, it's easy to go into a mustache guy or a gum.
Yeah.
I'm the most confident when I'm chewing gum. There's something about doing these little things that like, I feel like I'm acting good,
Yeah, but don't let that trick you into feeling like you're acting good is not acting good.
Yeah, cut to a clip of me just like, just like being so offensive.
But something I always try to remember is like, I've worked with so many actors that are like, can I have one more take? I wasn't feeling it. And I, inside my body, not on my face, always like roll my eyes because I'm like, here's what doesn't matter if you feel it. It's great if you do. Here's what matters if the audience feels it. We're not making this movie for you to view solo. Because what I always do is go to the director and say, did you feel that? Like, did the people behind the camera feel that? That's what's important. Like, I have seen my work, of which I don't watch a ton of it because I can't stomach myself, but watching myself, some of my most off days where I wasn't feeling like I was doing a good job, I can witness as an audience member and go, that was entirely believable, and I'm really proud of that scene. So I think it's sort of the same. I don't know. It's a little bit, maybe it's comes out of this odd thing I'd label as knowing my place and not trying to get too grandiose with it. But it's the same reason why, like, I would never really attempt, unless I felt something was really off, I wouldn't like attempt to rewrite a scene, because I'm pretty confident that the writers who handed me the script, who have been working on this for 6 months prior to me seeing the scene, have it on lock. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot to unpack.
First of all, I mean, I can't tell you how much I'm loving this conversation now, and how much I'm trying to navigate finding the pockets of only talking so much about stuff. But this is it for me now. So I want to have this conversation.
Okay.
I got lucky in figuring out something that you said. I was working on something, and I saw an actor that, like, I wasn't feeling it, and talked to the director a couple of times. Not that big of a deal, but I'm judging it, but I felt like, that's not a good look. Like, I don't know if it was needy, but to put one negative word on it if I had to, like, it looked needy. Maybe that's just process, and they had every right, and
sure,
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, you don't want to be judgmental, because some people have their process and they really do want to feel it, and I get that. I just am always wary of making, did I feel it, the, like, be all end all of whether the take was good, because that's not. I've seen people who are like, I didn't feel that at all, and it's a brilliant scene, and the only thing that matters is whether or not the people on the other side of the camera see it.
Well, that's what I want to see, if you could teach me a tool, because I have now, I don't know why, but I get nervous and insecure all the time. I don't go up on stage, stand up, without thinking, I've never done this before.
Right.
And it doesn't, once you start, you're fine. But when I'm on set for whatever reason and it's not earned, I'm glad I have it. I'm just like, I got this.
Yeah.
I just feel good about it, right? So I just do it. I just do the scene, whatever it might be. But then on this show, the on the spectrum, or at least that's what it's called at the moment, I felt a little bit different. I started to feel like, this matters more. My character matters more. Whatever it is, I got a little bit more insecure, a lot more insecure in certain moments where I wanted to ask, how was that? Or because when you're feeling it, great. When you're not, did it translate? And I didn't ask because of that thing. I felt like I don't want to look. But my question is, that's a trust in director. Where
100% trust.
If I have a director where it's like, when I auditioned for Allison Jones, do you know Allison Jones?
Oh, very well.
She'll say, I'll do one take. She'll say, we got it. I'll never say, are you sure? She'll say, let's do it again. And then until not to. I made this up, but I've decided for whatever reason, Allison knows. So I don't care as long as she liked it.
Yeah.
When you're working with a new director, how do you know that? Is there anything that you could recommend to me of, like, having a conversation with the director beforehand saying, I'm never going to, just let me know?
Well, that's exactly what I'd say, because again, all these relationships and growth, it boils down to communication, right? So the television world is a writer and producer's medium, right? It's not really a director's medium, because you get a new director each week. Movies are a director's medium, but my advice, what I would do rather, would be like, first of all, have this conversation with Kadams and say, like, I find this weird sense of responsibility more so than I ever have in my career as a comedian. Because, like, whatever, we all love bits and we all love making silly jokes. And I want to support you as a I want to support you as a comedian and as a friend. And we all want to support each other. But this role is different for me because we're talking about something that's actually important and that people are going to see themselves in, and there's representation involved in this project. And Kadams is closer to it than anyone because of his son. So the idea that you could have a confidant there and say, I just want to know if there's anything you're seeing that I'm doing that I shouldn't do, that looks like I'm being too indulgent, or perhaps things that you could just help me talk out. And then on the weekly basis, because you get a new director each week, you could say that up front. You could say, can I just have 5 minutes with the new director? and say, my name's Rick, I play this character. I also have autism, but I know it's a different type than the character I'm playing. And I find that I'm feeling a responsibility about telling this story. So here's what the advice Kadams gave me. If you could help keep me on track. And, so like maybe one day you decide to do a bunch of weird physical stuff in the take, then the director will know, oh, we've had that conversation. You can say, Rick, you know what? This scene doesn't need that. So pull back. And then someone has your back. You're creating teammates.
I've had to say that when I was dating for, a little bit, I guess, one of the things I kind of developed was kind of that thing of telling the person that I just met, like, sometimes I get a lot into bits. So if you don't feel the need to tell me twice, but give me the benefit of the doubt one time and say it's too much. I guess it's just kind of that to them.
Yeah, exactly, because it's just taking that from a personal environment, which you would do with like a woman you were seeing. Like, hey, I've got this thing, I get really into these bits. Make sure you holler at me if it's too much, because I don't want to, I don't want to.
Especially if I'm smoking weed.
Yeah, like
you lose it.
Go ahead and have a safe word. Pineapple means stop talking, Rick. Move on to the next bit or whatever. And then you want to create that kind of similarity and trust in relationship at work, right? You want those people to have your back, and you want to feel comfortable, and you want to say when you're insecure about anything, because they will have your back. Because here's the thing, y'all have a common goal. You, Kadams, the other actors, the entire crew, and the new director. You all have a goal of telling a great story.
There's when somebody says to me, Rick, you're too loud. The feeling I have, like, first of all, thank you for telling me, but also I know this person is going to tell me these things now. I feel so close to somebody who says that. Something that I'm pretty good at, but I'm finding along the way is that I like to be spoken to that way. It doesn't mean Kristen, it's too loud. You might not like that. There's no question or anything. I just wanted to get that out there.
But it provides you a safety.
Yeah.
I can understand that. And I'm glad I know that now, because I've loved you since the moment that I met you, and definitely was like, wow, Rick is a lot when we first met, but not even a lot. But I was like, Rick is different than anyone I've ever met, and also boisterously funny. And then getting to know you, I was like, oh, he's also so cool and kind. And then just like stupid shit. Like when Dax got in his motorcycle accident, you called and said, I'm going to wait in line for the greatest hot fried chicken in California. And
Shout out to Howlin' Rays. We'll put their Instagram handle up here.
Okay. And dropped it off at our house. And he was so appreciative. And I was like, that's the Rick I know. Like that. You're so kind.
Thank you.
You're
I got
welcome.
insecure about a plug there because of you not plugging it. I just love them and I talk about them on the podcast.
Great. Do it.
I want to talk about that moment of when we met and those feelings. Also, it makes me feel so good to hear like, oh, I'm aware of some of the things. And if not, I'll learn something. I don't just mean me, but like that time of Rick is a lot. Because that was a pivotal moment in my life. It was a few years before my diagnosis, but it was the first moment when I realized, I've talked about this, I think, on an episode with Jackie. We were having a conversation while we were dating, and she thought I wasn't listening to her. And I don't know if it was passive aggressively, but I was trying to prove her wrong. So I guess passive aggressively, I said word for word, like for 30 seconds of what she was saying. And she's like, I'm not saying you don't know. I'm just saying you're just looking at me with your mouth open.
Right.
And she's like, people need to say, that's when she taught me basically to do, I did the Kristen. Another thing that I do sometimes is when people are talking, you got to go like you just did. You got to go, oh, yeah.
Yeah, physical cues. Yeah. It's newer for you.
But it's just not intuitive to me.
Right. Sure.
So now for 2 weeks, she's talking to me and I just go like this, I'm being funny. I'm also trying to give her what she wants. And, my relationship with Jackie, at least the way I remember it, is we were always very good friends and we were romantic. There was never like this big this. So I don't remember how she felt about that. We talked about it in jokes, but it was just kind of like, it wasn't real to me. It was just like a thing between Jackie and me. I would be like, But then I started doing it with other people. Anyway, long way around. That was when I started learning things in that period of our meeting, and Dax and I guess we kind of got into a fight when we first met. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah. Well, Dax gets into a lot of fights when we're playing werewolves and villagers, just FYI.
Does he really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm putting you on the spot with this. Could we talk about when we met and that time?
Yeah, sure. I mean, my memory is for shit, but I'll go with you and try to remember any details that I can.
Well, then who cares? I don't remember too much of it anyway. I just had that. I talked about it with Dax, and all we remembered was the villagers and werewolves.
Yeah, well, look, he gets, we're both very competitive. It's one thing we find attractive about each other, Dax and I. And in Werewolves and Villagers, we've both gotten very competitive. And that night, he was destined to yell at somebody, and it happened to be you. And that's, but what's beautiful about it is that you didn't really take it that personally, and that you guys still have this beautiful relationship now.
That was the thing that makes me feel closer to somebody. That because it isn't about yelling at each other. It's we're both on the same page about something. Mm-hmm. Even if you disagree, we're both invested, and I feel close to. It's a teammate. Even if you're playing against someone in basketball, we're both wanting the game.
Yeah.
So we have this thing, and we're yelling. He's yelling
okay.
Because and I told you, I'm already not liking lying. I gave myself permission because we're playing a game.
We're playing a game where you have to lie.
Could you do a 10-second explanation to people?
Yeah, so Werewolves and Villagers, you take a deck of cards and you are basically passing out, there's let's say there's 4 aces in it. And if you get an ace, you are a werewolf and everyone else is a villager. And you play in a group of, let's say, 12 people. And then you're
one of the two.
You're one of the two. And then you open your eyes at night and you point at someone to kill them. And then the mayor announces who's killed. And you basically go I think this person's lying. No, I think this person's lying. She's fidgeting. And it's just a fun game that gets you in a lot of fights with your friends.
It's hide and seek in plain sight. There's strategy.
Exactly.
I'm just a regular person. I'm not a wolf. All right.
Right.
So that's the game. And I didn't know the game. It's explained to me then. And Jackie's next to me, put her Instagram handle, and she is a good guy and I'm a wolf. Mm-hmm. And I said, when we opened her eyes, I said, I don't know what we're allowed to say. I don't understand the rules well enough. So if this isn't what it is, let me know. But I saw her put her head up before you guys said put your head down.
Mm-hmm. Which is, by the way, an amazing strategy to use.
Thank you.
Like to employ.
That's why we broke up. So Dax is like, hold on. Like Dax is taking charge here to find out, did this really happen? And if so, I need to know what happened. Mm-hmm. So now I'm in with Dax fucking Shepard. And the guy's great at driving, I think he wants you to think.
Yeah.
So now I am, and this is where Kadams would have loved my take. I'm not sure how this is working. I'm asking the rules while explaining what she was doing, and she's like, "No, I didn't." And now she's on the spot, lights on her, and I go, It doesn't matter. Just I saw that maybe it was blah 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 blah. Dax, are you serious? Because if you are, we kill her and she's out. And if you're not, that's fucked up. And I say, I don't know. I don't know the rules. So whatever you want to do, but yes, I saw this. He goes, fine. We didn't even do whatever the round was. We closed. I just remember it was fast. Jackie was put her Instagram. She was, the way I remember it, she was taken aback by the sabotage that I just had against her. I'm her teammate in life. But
not in that game. So everybody's got to get over stuff like that.
Well.
And also, Dax, I think that, look, you were the new guy. Okay, and you're not, you came on the scene and you're very attractive and you're very charming and you're tall and you came into Dax's house and he is he's living with a silverback gorilla and he wants to know where everybody's allegiances are. And also we're very, very close with Jackie and you were her new guy and he grills all of my girlfriend's new boyfriends, So I think that was just sort of destined to, you weren't the first one that's received a little bit of a talking to from Father Dax.
But I was the tallest and or handsomest.
Correct. Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Okay. Do me a favor, say yeah, but I was the tallest and or handsomest.
Oh, absolutely.
I am now, I think Dax actually used the gorilla reference once when we were talking about this. I just didn't know that term other than you guys. But I'm now thinking, Kobe and Jordan, baby. Hey, Dax, all the yelling is just, that's the game.
Yeah.
I go in to fill up some water, and you come into the kitchen apologizing profusely for what your boyfriend or husband, I don't remember what the timing was, did. And I did not. No, it's fine. It's like after you play a game, it's like, sorry, dude. No, it's Kristen. We were playing in the paint. You play hard.
Yeah.
I thought nothing of it. But if anything, it was, I guess Dax was a little much. I don't think so. 2 days goes by. So Jackie was obviously sitting on this a little bit. And here's where it's an interesting thing that I think there's a thing. You guys are celebrities. I know you're celebrities.
But not in that setting. We were friends in that setting.
Yeah, and for better or worse, that's how I felt.
Okay.
Right? The point I'm making is by talking about perspectives, I have seen people meet people, and sometimes they're the same, sometimes they're a little bit different. Either they're overcompensating, they're a little nervous, whatever it is. I know that people have different expectations of how you're supposed to behave.
Uh-huh.
If anything, take the celebrity thing aside, I am meeting my girlfriend's friends.
Mm-hmm.
There's a certain way I'm supposed to be.
Uh-huh.
Having that perspective isn't wrong. It's not right. It's just a perspective. And,
right.
Maybe you communicate those things. And I came up with a saying when I realized, because there's been multiple times with Jackie where I was a bit much. I love to gamble, and sometimes I miss, but I don't want to gamble with other people's money. And sometimes it's Jackie's money.
Okay.
Anyway, a couple days goes by, and Jackie was very upset with me. I'm getting insecure now that I'm speaking bad about her. She's not wrong.
No,
Does
I
this
don't think
make
you
sense?
are. Yeah, 100%. And I don't think...
Because you did it with Dax.
100%. And by the way, neither you nor I have the intention to bash Jackie or Dax. We love them both with all
Very
our
much.
hearts. But they're allowed to talk about experiences they've had with us, and we're allowed to talk experiences we've... I don't think we're doing anything wrong.
Okay. And she looked horrible when she told me. No, I'm just kidding. Edit that out or bleep something. Or she laughed. It's fine. And she was really upset.
Yeah.
You came over, and I projected the celebrity thing, but I remember feeling that, I guess these are her like famous friends. I remember thinking that she didn't put that on me.
Sure.
And I'm like, maybe there's like you only introduce certain people, whatever it was.
Sure.
And I remember thinking Kristen thought Dax was doing the same thing.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, it was a long version of not a big, huge conclusion, but
it was also the silliest interaction, because the reality is, like, I don't necessarily feel like Jackie. First of all, I totally see what you're saying. Is you could put Jackie in the box of like, oh, because we were with your famous friends or whatever, but she has more famous friends, and also I feel like she, if anything, were probably two of her most protective friends, which again is why that happened, because Dax was just a little, straight spined because there was a new guy on the scene, like in any of my girlfriends' lives. Like he takes a very protective role in all the women in his lives, not in a bad way, but in a kind of just a good, I need to know the lay of the land and make sure every guy's on the up and up. But I'm glad that you guys got over it, because I love your relationship now, and the fact that you've stayed in touch and you guys talk vulnerably together makes me so happy.
He's the go-to person for anything career-wise, but not like, how do I audition? Like a feeling I'm having.
Mm-hmm.
I talked about it in the Dax one. I don't want to get too much into it, but third season of a TV show I was on, the 7 cast members, they sent 5 of them to New York for the upfronts, and not me and one of the other ones. And Bill Lawrence, the showrunner, said, hey, if you fly yourself out, I'll put you up in a hotel. You could come to all the events. He was very gracious about it because it was a network decision. I wanted to go so bad because I wanted to experience this. For 2 years, I've been seeing it. I also felt like, I don't want to be that guy. And I called Dax, and he said, just show up to work and just make sure people like you.
Yeah.
And that made me, I'm not going to go to the upper. It was just like that. It was, I'm not going to go.
He has an uncanny way of sort of neutralizing bad thought patterns and, cleaning up your side of the street in your brain. He's really good at it. Also, the upfronts can be very miserable. So, like, I understand the idea of wanting to go, but when you get there, it's not going to be very fun.
I'm on this show for the first time. My best friends are going to New York, and they're flying first class, and they're in hotels, and they're playing with Conan. And it's like, I want to fucking get in with that. You know what I mean? But that thing he said to me, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
He's just really good at that. I've also decided he was. All right. We got to end this soon.
What else do you want to talk about?
I mean, I have a list of things, but I haven't gotten to any of them. Oh, there's something, and I don't want to, if this is distasteful, I'll edit this out. I do apologize. But I have this, I'm a big, I'm a fan, and I bought a picture, a picture online, signed picture of you.
For $7?
$14.99.
Wow, they've really shot up.
I think it's a real signature, but I can't tell.
Let me see.
If it's you actually.
Is it the Princess Leia one?
It's not, and I'm sorry. I think
Is it scantily clad?
It's.
Oh Jesus. Well, that was voluntary. That's okay.
But I don't know. Is this a copy of your autograph, or did you actually sign it? And I can give it to you. And if it isn't, would you mind signing it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, this was shooting. I think this was for L or Allure. This was like being comfortable in your body, shooting yourself nude. Let me check if this is a real.
Take it out of the plastic for the autograph.
Woo! Remember when I used to have boobs?
What'd you say?
This is not a real sign.
You're signing over the plastic.
Yeah, no, I know. No, I was attempting to verify, authenticate the photo.
Well, we used to sign over it.
Will I sign over it?
Yeah.
I don't think this is my signature.
Will you cross that out and sign it and maybe a message?
Of course. Oh, it's for Allure. It says right there. Yeah, and this is when I was breastfeeding, obviously.
Why, obviously? Because of the size of your ego?
Yeah. This is not my signature. And not only is it not my signature, you should ask for a refund. Not only is it not my signature, it is also not an original signature.
That's what it looks like. It's not an original.
Right. So here's what happens: is you have to when these sellers or whatever you want to call them ask you to sign things, they always hand you a blue pen, and they hand you a blue pen because when they make duplicates, the blue shows up blue.
You ever say I'm not doing blue?
I often say I'm not doing blue. Because I'm happy to sign anything for any kid, any Frozen fan, whatever, great. But if you're coming up with like 700 headshots and you just want me to sign so that you can go home and sell them, I'm sort of like, maybe I'm not as interested in this transactional relationship. So this is not my signature, but also...
I wonder if I could show this to PayPal and be like, I got her saying this isn't real and to get my fucking money back.
Maybe. I think that PayPal would be very interested in this tape. But also this is a copy because when you sign in black and you make the copy duplicate like this, it comes out gray. Mm-hmm. So let's see. I'm going to X that out.
Thank you.
Okay. And then I'm going to go...
While you're doing that, I'm going to fill up my water.
Okay. How do you spell psych?
Psych is in gotcha?
Yeah.
P-S-Y-C-H?
You do? It's not S-A-K-E in the slang?
I don't think you're allowed to say slang anymore.
You can't say slang?
Bleep it.
Really? Okay. How do you spell
it? You can say it.
P.
I don't want people to think you said something horrible at his bleep.
Right.
You can't say.
P-A-P-S.
So I did I think it was my first, if not second sketch I did with my buddy John DeWalt. Shout out to Johnny D. We'll put Jackie's Instagram handle up here. And it was a sketch called Live from New York, It's Saturday Night, where instead of saying psych, you would look to camera and say, Live from New York, it's Saturday night. So if you could do that.
Oh, okay. No, I've already got it done. I've got it done. I think I'm proud of it.
Could you hold it up?
Yeah. Now, full disclosure, I'm stealing a little bit from Dax's bit here.
Dear Rick, you have the best buns in the languages?
In the business.
Sorry, autism. JK, is that a thing he says?
No, he writes on everyone that he signs, like, you know, he'll meet Linda at a gas station and she's like, can you sign this for me? And he writes, Dear Linda, you're the best kisser.
Oh, you're the best something.
Yeah,
gotcha.
you're the best something.
You know, you commented on, and I'd like to plug it on here, love headshot bits. Love signing stuff.
Oh, my God.
Resume stuff.
Rick, when you printed out the picture of David, is his name David? Yeah, David Schwimmer, and you put your name, Rick Glassman, on it. I mean, I giggled for 40 minutes.
Well, I'll tell you what. I have a sweat I wanted to give you, but it didn't come in your size. I have a large. I'd imagine you're a small.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you one, and I'll add some Schwimmer merch, some goodies.
Have you just been doing this podcast the whole COVID, like every day?
I can't waste our last minutes, but I will, complaining about this fucking podcast to you.
Oh, okay. Don't
but,
do them.
Yes. And it's, without stand-up, I'm having people shitting on people constantly. I'm looking for ways of being creative, and I'm grateful for that.
Very creative.
Thank you. And I'm proud of it. It's a lot. It's 30 hours a week of doing shit, but also we've never had an hour plus conversation one-on-one ever. So many, even my friends. So it's been a really nice opportunity to connect with people through the balcony. But yeah, I just signed a contract this week for an advertising agency. Oh. So it's going to be my first time. Dax was I was filming podcasts for a while, 5+ years. When Jackie and I were together, I was making podcasts. I never put any of them out. I just didn't like it. I kept trying, blah, 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 blah.
You made podcasts for 5 years and never released them?
I mean, I wasn't doing them daily. I made maybe 15 of them over
Okay.
5 years. But yeah, like, I don't know if I like this concept. A lot of them, we got way too personal, where it's like, we felt in the moment this is great, but like, we don't need to put this shit out there.
Yeah.
And then Armchair Expert came out.
Mm-hmm.
I started listening to it, and that's when I'm like, I got to do podcasts. So he's the best.
He's the best.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to talk about? Can we talk about, like, give a Hello Bello plug or something?
We can give Hello Bello a plug. Oh, well, I started a new company. Let's give them some airtime. This during COVID, what I've been mainly working on, at least in the beginning, is launching a CBD skincare line called Happy Dance.
I saw that.
And it's pretty cool. We only have 3 products right now because we wanted to start small. And the intention behind it was like, CBD is in the cannabis sativa plant, but it's a part of the hemp plant that does not get you high. And I've felt like CBD has improved my life. It just feels like, it's hard to describe, but it really just feels like you're turning down the volume of your children, or you're setting the thermostat to exactly the right temperature. And it improved my life. And I was like, all I'm seeing out there in the CBD space is either like playing on the stoner trope, which I'm like, nah, or like super clinical packaging. And I was like, no, let's make something fun and happy and sort of demysticize this whole CBD thing. And so we made a bath bomb, which is delicious. I'll get you some of this.
Okay.
And then a coconut oil with CBD, with high full spectrum CBD in it, which is really great. I used to take my makeup off, Rick. I use it to moisturize my legs,
Do we have a clip?
my cuticles. We do have a clip. I have so enjoyed talking to you today, Ricky.
Thanks.
I just adore you.
There was something that we didn't get to, which was, and I felt a little like, I tried to sing with you before. I wasn't prepared. I haven't been playing the piano much. But I wanted to have my mom call my mom. My mom is obsessed with Frozen. And I wanted her to, and she said she would, sing a duet with you.
Oh, my goodness.
And then I wanted to have, animate the two of you guys. But, you as Anna. Anna. And we couldn't do that, but I at least want to see what it would have looked like. So could you kind of lead us out and saying, like, I had a great time, but we're here, it's snowing now, and you could be a princess, and we could just end it in like this fun Frozen theme.
Okay, what's your mom's name?
Debbie.
And wait, and you can bleep it out, but please say what your mom's Instagram handle is and tell the story behind that. My mom signed on to Instagram years ago, and she didn't know how to do it. Oh, I remember what was right. And I'm going to be bleeping this. Yeah. But don't bleep the last two. Don't bleep.
Yeah.
Don't bleep.
She made her Instagram handle at a time when it was allowed. She made it gmail.com because that was her email address.
Right, because was her email address. And then on the Instagram handle, she just typed it in. So it's gmail.com.
Yeah, it couldn't have the @ symbol of the period.
Oh, God. It's so brilliant.
Look at what an amazing transition. Here you are appreciating something my mom did.
I love it.
And now we're going to get her in. And we're going to just get out of here Frozen style. Put in some music.
Hey, Debbie. I've had such a great time talking to Rick today.
Thanks.
You really nailed it with this one, Debbie.
Thanks.
Thanks for giving the world Rick Glassman.
My name's Marge. Kristen, thank you so much for coming over.
You're so welcome.
And I guess Scoop do.
Yeah.
Blabbity blue, Scoop D. Oh,